Hi! How are we doing? How we holding up? How's everybody tonight? Finally found the energy to head home from work. Dude, you've been working way too much though. Like, for real. welcome in everybody. Get yourself settled down. I have my heavy duty my heavy duty fairy tale book. This thing's built different. For real. For real. Oh, good morning, Belle. Oh, why it's good morning, but it's good morning. I've had a busy day. I've been doing a lot today, and I've been trying to like do a whole ton. Go to bed? No. Simply will not. Simply refuse. I got exciting stuff. I ordered a scab recently that I can't wait for it to be finished because it's gonna be used for things and stuff. Yeah, fancy scab. It has to do with maybe having a new design for the model. Oh, I'm doing things. I was here and played around on my phone for 30 minutes, decided it was actually time to head out. You know, that's fair. We're probably gonna get a new outfit soon, is what I'm saying. Or I'm gonna start work on a new outfit. I'm not doing- this is 6.0. Russian, hello! This is 6.0. It's not a new model, new outfit, I should say. Yay! I found this designer who does some really great work, who's on Skeb. It's not a 7.0. It's gonna be a new outfit. That's the plan at the very least, is I want to do a new outfit. And doing new outfits will keep me from making a whole new model, because I'm actually really pleased with this one. This model is genuinely, probably the best one that I've had. Tracking's really smooth. I feel really great using it. And I don't plan on leaving it behind. I got 12 months before 7.0. I'm gonna secretly, guys, secretly I've been trying to turn into a Final Fantasy 14 streamer. You just won't know it until it hits, and we are squarely in 14 town. You're not gonna realize it until Doc hits. Speaking of that, oh, that trailer though. I can't wait. I'm very excited. What stories do I have in here? Damn, okay, Zepla. No. What is it? So the stories that I have in here, these are all in alphabetical order. Bro, we got our melee teaser? No, we didn't. We didn't get our DPS trailer. Our melee DPS trailer. You're shitting me. That's a lie. Don't lie to me. It's still in development. I'm smart. Oh my god, this book has like old book smell to it. It's my favorite thing about getting these books out. I love finding my old books. I went digging around in this one like a crazy person trying to find it because I was determined. Firmly convinced Meteor is absolutely going to be Corsair. I think he's going to be a Corsair too. There's just a little bit too much information in that direction for me to think that he is not going to be a Corsair. I'm thinking we're going to get Corsair and Pictomancer. And if we get Pictomancer, I am for sure going to be maybe considering doing a 14 stream every now and again. And maybe doing, like, content, like redoing my MSQ. So I can do Pictomancer. curious to know what Kryle is going to be doing. Let's try and keep it spoiler-free here, for the most part, because I know there's probably a lot of people who haven't gotten caught up on content. But I hope Kryle's doing something good. It was good to see all the characters doing their own thing. It's been very nice. Yeah, you gotta be quiet. Shh. You can't tell them anything. I think it's gonna be Corsair and Pictomancer. Just in general, that's just kind of the feeling of vibe I get. Name. I'm very excited. Yo, okay, real quick. I just want to say, I was not expecting, I'm looking at my YouTube analytics right now, just for the shits and giggles of it. I've been checking in on the ASMR video every once in a while. You guys have been fucking killing it, by the by, because it's already almost at 80, like, views, and that's not normal. New crafter class makes plushies for pet battles, let's go. Dude, I would pay money to just have Mammoteer be a crafting class. I feel like that would be really fun. I mean, it'd probably make Goldsmith a little bit redundant, but you never know. Do you guys want some stories? I've got my book right here. It's old, it's hefty. I'm half tempted to just find a page and go for it. I obviously have it's got pretty much any of the see, the pages are so big that it makes my model twitch when I feel when I turn them. It's got just about any only doing what a Meteor Man can. It's got just about any of the standard fairy tales that you can imagine. So we've got plenty of stuff to like read. I've got a lot of stuff to give a shot at. So I got, well, what's the first one? The first one's the Frog Prince and Faithful Henry. I've got the Fairy Queen and the Woodcutter's Child. Well, hold the cornstarch. Does that say hold the cornstarch? Aguantan las días. Hi Darius, welcome in. If only I could learn to shudder. I've got The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids, Good Bargain, Faithful John, The Enchanted Fawn. I could, oh actually, hold on. I know, where is my favorite? I have a favorite fairy tale actually. And I know it's in this book. Long live the cornstarch. All hail cornstarch, my favorite thing. For real though, I can't live without cornstarch. Let's see, how about we read the... Where is it? Oh my gosh, where is it? I know it's somewhere around here. It's the Ulfers story. I'm trying to find the story in here. My sientas is a food, like a sweet. It is? Oh, that sounds good. I've never had that before. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Prince Henry, Hansel and Gretel, King of the Mountains, Man Without the Hands. I know it's somewhere around here. You're somewhere in here and I know it. Where is it? You're shitting me. I know it's somewhere in here. I really want to find it because it's like my favorite story. God damn it. There's a story called All Furs, or the Code of All Furs, that I love. It's like one of my favorite stories, and I'm trying to find it, but I don't think I can find it right now. It might not be in this specific book. So I think I'm gonna try one of my other favorites, and we'll just start off with a crowd pleaser. How about Hansel and Gretel? Okay. Everybody likes Hansel and Gretel. It's a classic. It's a classic fairy tale, right? There we go. Ah, I love old book smell. It smells so good. Book. Alright. It's been a bit since we did a reading stream. I'm really hoping that you guys enjoy these. I'll find the Code of All Furs later. I know it's somewhere in here. Somewhere. I know it. But for now, we're just gonna do this. Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, they lived near the borders of a large forest. A poor woodcutter with his wife and 2 children. A boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They had little enough to eat, and finally, when a great famine came, they could no longer earn their keep. One night, as the woodcutter lay awake thinking of their troubles, he sighed and said, "What will become of us? How can we feed our children when we cannot get enough food even for ourselves?" "I know what we will do," said his wife. It was only the stepmother of the children. "Early tomorrow morning, we will take the children out into the thickest part of the woods. We will build them a fire and give them our only remaining piece of bread. We will then go to our work. They cannot find the way home again, and we shall be freed from them." "No, wife," said the man, "I cannot do that. How could I have the heart to leave my children alone in the woods, where the wild beasts would soon devour them?" "Oh, what a fool," she cried. "Then all 4 of us must die of hunger. You may as well plane the boards of our coffins at once." She gave him no peace until he consented, but his heart was full of pity and sorrow for the poor children. The 2 children, who were also too hungry to sleep, heard what their stepmother had said to their father. Gretel cried bitterly and said to her brother, "Now we shall surely both die." But Hansel said, "Hush, Gretel, do not cry. I shall be happy to help." He waited until their parents were fast asleep, then he got up, dressed himself, undid the door, and slipped out quietly. The moon shone brightly, and the white pebbles that lay in front of the cottage glittered like silver. Hansel stooped, and picked up as many of the pebbles as his pocket would hold. Then he went back to Gretel and said, "Be comforted, dear little sister, and sleep in peace. God will not forsake us." So saying, he went back to bed and fell asleep. In the morning, before the sun rose, the stepmother came and woke up the 2 children and said, "Get up, you lazy bones. We must go into the forest now and gather wood." Giving each a piece of bread, she said, "Here is something for your dinner. Do not eat it before then, for you will get nothing more." Gretel took the bread in her apron while Hansel carried the stones in his pocket. Soon they were all on the way to the forest. After they had gone a little way, Hansel stopped and looked back at the house. This he did several times, till at last his father said, "Hansel, what are you looking at? That you lag so behind. Take care and don't forget your legs." "Oh, father," replied the boy, "I am looking at my white cat that sits on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me." The stepmother said, "Foolish boy, that is not your cat. The sun's shining on the roof of the chimney." Hansel, however, had not been looking at the cat, but had stayed behind to take a white pebble from his pocket and drop it on the ground as they walked along. When they reached the middle of the forest, the father said, "Come, children, gather wood now, and I will make you a fire so you will not get cold." Hansel and Gretel gathered a pile of twigs together, which the father kindled. As the flames blazed up, the stepmother said, "Lie down now by the fire and rest, children, while your father and I go into the forest and cut wood. When we get ready to go home, we will come for you." Hansel and Gretel sat down by the fire, and when noon came, they ate their little piece of bread. As long as they heard the sound of the axe, they thought that their father was near. But it was not an axe they heard, but a limb their father had bound to a dead tree, so that it would blow back and forth in the wind and strike the tree like an axe. They sat by the fire a long time, till at last their eyes became heavy, and they fell fast asleep. I forgot to add something here. I'm so sorry. I always forget to open up my programs before stream, and I feel a little bit bad. But give me just a second to fix this really quick. It says that there's already an instance running. Why? What game? Oh no. Hold on a second. I'm gonna turn off my some of my stuff real quick, because I don't want I'm trying to keep some stuff a little quieter tonight. I want it to be a little bit more quiet. There we go. Sorry. Where was I? Alright. They sat by the fire a long time, till at last their eyes became heavy and they fell fast asleep. When they awoke, it was a dark night. Gretel began to cry and said, "How are we ever going to get out of the woods, Hansel?" Hansel comforted her by saying, "Only wait a little while till the moon rises. Then we shall find our way out." Hi, Bannon, welcome in. We're doing a little reading tonight. I've got my big storybook here. It's chunky. Hansel comforted her by saying, "Only wait a little while till the moon rises. Then we shall find our way out." When the full moon had risen, Hansel took his little sister by the hand and followed the white pebbles that glistened in the moonlight. They traveled all night, and at the break of day reached their father's house. They knocked at the door, and an old woman opened it. And when she saw them, she cried out, "You wicked children, what did you sleep so long in the woods for? We taught you. We thought you were never coming back again." But the father was overjoyed to see them, for he had grieved to think that he had left them alone in the forest. Not long after this, want again stared them in the face, and the children heard the stepmother crying one night, saying, "We shall soon have nothing to eat. There is half a loaf of bread yet, and then we are at the end of the rope. We will take them deeper into the woods this time, so it will be impossible for them to find their way out." There is no other way for us to save ourselves. This made the father's heart very sad. He thought, it would be better to share this last morsel with my children and then die than to leave them in this way. But his wife would not listen to him. Anne scolded him and reproached him for a long time. When a person has once said A, he must also say B. Because he had yielded the first time, he could not refuse to do so the second. The children had heard this conversation also, and when the parents were asleep, Hansel rose to go out and gather pebbles as he had done before. But the stepmother had fastened the door so securely that he could not get out. So he went back and comforted little Gretel, telling to her not to cry, to go to sleep, and God would surely help them. Early in the morning, the stepmother came and pulled the children out of bed. Before they went to the woods, she gave each of them a piece of bread for their dinners, smaller even than she had given them before. As they went along, Hansel, who had the bread in his pocket, stopped every now and then and threw little crumbs along the path. "Hansel," said his father, "what are you looking at? Keep in the path." "I am looking at my little dove who sits on the roof nodding goodbye to me," said the boy. "Simpleton," said his stepmother, "there's no dove there. It is the morning sun shining upon the chimney." But Hansel still kept dropping the crumbs as he went along. The stepmother led them farther into the woods than they had ever been before. Again, the parents made a large fire for the children, and the stepmother said to them, "Sit here, children, and when you are tired, you can lie down and sleep a little. We are going into the forest to cut wood, and when we are ready to return, we will come and get you." When it was noon, Gretel divided her piece of bread with Hansel, who had scattered his along the way, and they ate their dinner. Then they fell asleep. Evening came, but no one came for the poor little children. When they awoke, it was quiet, dark, and again Hansel comforted his little sister, saying, "Wait a little, Gretel, till the moon rises and we can see the breadcrumbs that I strewed along the path, and we can find out the way back to the house." When the moon rose, they got up, but they could not see the breadcrumbs, for the birds that fly about in the fields and the woods had picked them all up. But Hansel cheered his sister, saying, "We will soon find the path." But they did not find it. They walked all night, and all the next day, and all the morning, until evening. They did not come out of the forest. They were very hungry, for they had nothing to eat but a few berries that grew close to the ground. At last they became so tired that their little legs could go no farther, and they lay down to sleep. It was now the third morning since they left their father's house. They started on their wanderings once more, but they only got deeper and deeper into the forest. "If help does not come soon, we shall both die," they thought. About noon, they saw a beautiful snow-white bird sitting on the branch of a tree. It sang so beautifully and sweetly, they stopped to listen. When it had finished its song, it spread its wings out and flew on before them. They followed it until they saw it alight on the roof of a little cottage. What was the surprise of the children on coming near to find that the house was built entirely of bread, ornamented with cake, and that its windows were of clear sugar. "Hi, Penny. Welcome in. Let us stop here," said Hansel, "and have a splendid feast. I will take a piece from the roof, and you can take a piece from the window. How good it will taste." So Hansel reached up and broke very little off the roof, while Gretel nibbled from one of the window panes. Presently, a soft voice called from the room, "Nibble, nibble like little mouse, who is nibbling at my house?" And the boy answered, the wind, so soft and mild." And the girl said, the wind, the heavenly child." The children kept eating without a thought that they were doing wrong, as the roof tasted very nice to the hungry boy. I wish you guys could see these illustrations, by the way. They are absolutely gorgeous. Genuinely one of my favorite books. He broke off a larger piece, and Gretel broke out a whole round window pane. And sitting down at the steps, they prepared to enjoy their feast. But just then, the door of the cottage opened, and a very old woman leaning upon crutches came out. Hansel and Gretel were so frightened, they dropped what they held in their hands. The old woman nodded her head and said, "Oh, dear children, who has brought you here? Come in and live with me. I will not hurt you." And taking both by the hand, she drew them into the cottage. She gave them a good supper of pancakes with sugar milk and apples and nuts. When they had their fill and were finished, she led them to two beautiful white curtained beds, where they lay down and thought they were in heaven. But the old woman was only pretending to be friendly, for she was wicked and hated children, and had built the little cottage of bread and cake purposefully to trap them. Whenever she could catch a child, she killed it and cooked it and ate it for her dinner. That was, and Gretel came near to her in their wanderings in the forest. She laughed wickedly to herself and said, "I have them now. They shall not escape from me again." Early in the morning, before the children were awake, the old woman was up, and she looked at the two children as they lay quietly sleeping, and saw their round rosy cheeks, and muttered, "They will make a good bite for me." Then she seized Hansel with her rough hand, dragging him out into a little stall, closed it with a grated door. He might scream as much as he liked, but it was no use. He could not get out, and then going to Gretel, she shook her and cried, "Get up, lazy bones, and get some water to cook, and cook your brother something good. I have put him in a small stall where I shall fatten him. When he gets fat, I shall eat him." Gretel began to cry bitterly, but it was of no use. She had to do as the wicked old witch told her. The best food was cooked for poor Hansel, but Gretel received nothing but crab's claws. Every morning the old woman crept out to the stall and said, "Stick out your finger, Hansel, that I may feel of it, and see if he will soon be fat enough." But Hansel would reach out a little bone instead, and as the witch could not see very well, she thought it was his finger, and wondered why he did not get any fatter. When 4 weeks had passed, and Hansel did not get any fatter, she became impatient, and would not wait any longer. "Hi-ho, Gretel," she called to the maiden. "Be quick and get some water. Hansel may be fat or lean. I shall kill him and cook him tomorrow." How the poor little sister wept as she brought the water. With tears rolling down her cheeks, she cried out, "Dear God, help us. If we had only been eaten by the wild beasts, then we should have died together." "Save your prayers," said the old woman. "They won't help you." Gretel was ordered up early in the morning to kindle the fire and hang a kettle over it, a kettle full of water. "First we will bake," she said. "I have already heated the oven and kneaded the bread." She pushed Gretel towards the oven, in which the fire was still burning fiercely. "Creep in," she cried out, "and see if it is hot enough, and we will put the bread in right away." Gretel knew what she wanted to do, and said, "I do not know how to do it. How can I creep in?" "What a goose you are," said the old woman. "Door's large enough. Look here, I myself can get in." And she crawled up and stuck her head in the oven. And suddenly, a thought came to Gretel. She gave the old woman a push, and she fell into the oven. Then she quickly closed the iron door and drew the bolt. The old woman howled horribly, but Gretel ran away, leaving the old witch to burn to death. She went straight to Hansel, opening the grated door. "Oh, Lily! Hi, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing tonight? What were you playing?" Hold on, let me give you a shout out real quick. Everyone go follow Lily. Lily is an absolute sweetheart in the community. An absolute gem. I don't know. How was I not following you already? Just drawing mostly? Well, I'm glad that you came by. Thank you for showing up. We're just reading Hansel and Gretel now, but I feel like we'll probably wind up doing more. How's the reading going? What's your word accuracy? I have no idea. I have no idea what my word accuracy is. This book is written in like 1890s speak, so it's not great. Because grammar's a little bit different, but you know, it is what it is. She went straight to Hansel, and opening the grated door, she exclaimed joyfully, "Hansel, we are free." "Gretel, hi, welcome. How are you doing today?" "The old witch is dead." As quickly as the door was open, Hansel sprang out like a bird from its cage. They threw their arms around each other's necks and kissed each other and ran about for their joy. As there was nothing to be afraid of, they went into the witch's house, and there in every corner stood chests of pearls and heaps of precious stones. "These are much better than pebbles," said Hansel as he filled his pockets. Hope you guys are doing good today, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. I will get to a stopping point and then I will introduce myself for people who haven't been here before. I always feel weird leaving off in the middle of a story, so bear with me here for just a minute. "I will carry some home too," said Gretel. She filled her little apron. "Now we must go," said Hansel, "and get out of this bewitched house." They had been walking for a couple of hours when they came to a large body of water. "We cannot get across," said Hansel. "I see no bridge of any kind." "There are no little boats either," replied Gretel, "but there is a white duck swimming in the water that I think will help us across if I asked her." So she cried, "Little white duck, we are waiting for thee. Not a bridge nor a boat can one of us see, yet we must cross to the other side. Little white duck, on your back let us ride." The duck swam up to them, and Hansel seated himself on her back and wanted his sister to sit behind him. She said no, that would be too much for the duck. She must take us one at a time. The good little duck did so, and carried them safely over. They went on their way very happily, and soon they came to a part of the woods where they had been before. As they walked along, things grew more and more familiar, till at last they came in sight of their father's house. Then they began to run. Bursting into the room, they threw their arms around their father's neck. Poor man had not had one happy hour since he left his children in the forest. And after he had lost them, his wife soon also died. Gretel shook her apron, and the pearls and precious stones rolled all over the floor, while Hansel drew handful after handful from his pockets. Their sorrows and troubles were now at an end, and they lived together in a great happiness ever after. Hi, Raiders. I wanted to finish that first. Hello, Raiders. My name is Iris. I am a little techno daemon who lives inside your computer. I do reading streams, games, etc., etc. I do all my own art. Everything you see on screen right now, minus the book in my hands that is from another artist. is all done by me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. What a great sleepy voice. I've been sleepy all day. I have been very sleepy all day. I tried to take a nap earlier, but I got woke up because my work called me and was like, oh, Iris, we need you to fix things. And I had to, like, get out of bed, and I was like, oh, no. I had a pretty sleepy voice with the ASMR video, too, when I recorded it, but it was a little bit less so. I think I had, like, woken up enough. If you EP, go to bed. Shut up. I'm not gonna go to bed yet. If I go to bed now, I'm just gonna be open, like, really late. Someone stayed up too late. Sleep to your own ASMR. I can't sleep to ASMR. Like, here's the thing. When we started ASMR, when that was, like, a goal that was set, I don't listen to ASMR. I actually don't enjoy it that much on, like, a personal level. Every once in a while I'll listen to Fauna, Hololive Fauna's, like, ASMR, or I'll run across something, but most of the time I don't actually like ASMR that much. I have to sleep in, like, quiet. It has to be, like, quiet except for, like, my AC running, and even then I don't like when my AC runs. So, I have a hard time sleeping in the summer, and then I have a hard time sleeping in the winter because my heater runs really loud, and it makes me very, very tired. I have to sleep in, like, really quiet. But I found that I didn't mind recording the ASMR video. It was actually pretty pleasant to record. It was just very different. I had never done that before. I don't mind soft voices and stuff, but the extra noises folks make sometimes give me the heebie-jeebies. So in summary, Demon cannot sleep to anything correct. I in fact have insomnia. I usually sleep to Catboy ASMR. Good for you. Will not not sleep. I am awake 24/7. My Pokemon Sleep app hates me. Even normal Catboys and big muscular ones, that's just a Rockgar. I've been in Sleepyville. I did sleep in today though. I did manage to sleep in. I think I slept until like 1 o'clock. I like woke up partway through the morning and I was like trying to fight myself to get back to bed, and I laid there for quite some time, and then eventually I passed back out, and I slept from like 9 to 1, something like that. I usually sleep to either World War II documentaries or Millie Parfait's ASMR. I usually fall asleep on VC with my 2 girlfriends. That's beautiful. I love that. I put on documentaries usually when I sleep. Like, if I do want to put something on to sleep. I used to sleep very frequently. I don't do it anymore because I found that I don't sleep as well. But I did used to listen to true crime documentaries when I slept. Nothing says getting a good night's sleep like hearing about terrible, terrible murder. Serial killers make my brain itch, so I sleep well. Don't quote me on that. I used to sleep. I used to put on what's that channel? Investigation Discovery. I used to put on Investigation Discovery, and that's how I sleep at night. Murder is the best quality sleep. Murder is the only time I get sleep. Most of the time, if I'm not listening to music, I'm usually listening to podcasts, and most of my podcasts are crime podcasts. They're either like true crime murder podcasts, or cult podcasts, or unsolved mysteries. If I'm not listening to music, that is. If I'm listening to music, then it's something completely different. What should we do for the next one? Hold on. You're gonna see me twitch, because every time I turn a page, it goes twitchy. Here, let me put my book back on my lap here. Let me see if I can't find... I've got Rapunzel. But I don't want to read Rapunzel right now. I want to give you guys a, maybe a story you guys haven't heard before. So I'm trying to find one that, I know you guys haven't seen. The dark version of Rapunzel. This is the 1890s version, so it would definitely probably be a little bit darker than your standard Rapunzel story. Let's see. I know that there's something here that I can find, and I'm trying to find it. Have you guys heard The Imp in the Bottle? That's actually a good one. It's 255 is the page number. It's very much towards the end. Let me flip on through. Have you guys heard this one before? Let me see. Come on. 265. I went a little too far. This book has about 300 pages. If you guys haven't heard The Imp in the Bottle, I feel like that's probably an interesting one for us. Alright. Let's give it a shot here. Alrighty. This one might actually sound familiar for some people who are fans of a certain shonen series, actually. There once lived a poor woodcutter who worked hard from early morning to late at night. After a long time, he managed to lay by a small son. Calling his son to him once a day, he said, "You are my only child, and I wish the money that I have earned by the sweat of my brow to be used for your education, that when I am old, you may have some trade by which you can support me." So the youth was sent to a high school, and was so industrious and successful at his studies that his teachers were greatly pleased with him. When he had passed through 2 courses of study, the father's savings were exhausted, and he was obliged to return home. "Alas," his father said sadly, "I can give you nothing more, for in these hard times I can scarcely earn our daily bread." "Dear father," replied the son, "do not give yourself any further to trouble about me. Whatever is God's will is for the best. I can adapt to any circumstance." As the father prepared to go out into the forest to cut some wood, his son said, "I will go with you and help you." "That will be too hard of work for you," said the father. "You are not accustomed to it, and it will soon tire you out. Besides, I have only one axe and no money to buy another with." "Go to your neighbor and borrow one," said the son. So the woodcutter borrowed an axe from his neighbor, and the next morning at the break of day, both father and son were on their way into the woods. At noon, the father proposed that they rest a while and eat their lunch, but the son soon said, "You rest, father. I am not tired, so I will walk about a little and look for a bird's nest." The son took his bread in his hands and went joyfully away into the woods, peering among the green branches for any nest he could find. He ran hither and thither, till finally he came onto an immense oak that must have been several 100 years old. As he stood gazing at it, he thought he heard a voice. He listened and heard in a smothered tone, "Let me out! Let me out!" He looked around but could not find anything, but it seemed as if the voice came from the earth. "Where are you?" he cried. "I am hidden here at the root of the oak, rather. Let me out," was the reply. The boy began digging, searching about the roots. Finally, in a little hole, he found a glass bottle. He held it up to the light and saw a creature springing up and down in it. It looked like but a frog. Let me out," it called more loudly than ever, and the boy, not suspecting any evil, took out the stopper. The creature jumped out and immediately began to grow, and grew so rapidly that in a few minutes he he was half as big as the trunk of the oak tree. Do you know what your reward will be for letting me out? He cried in a fearful voice. No, replied the boy, not frightened, not at all frightened by him. How should I know? Then I will tell you, said the giant. Your neck shall be broken. You should have told me that before, replied the boy, and I would not have let you out. But I shall save my neck yet. There are more people to be consulted in the matter. People or no people, said the giant, you shall receive your reward. Do you think I have been shut up so long out of mercy? No, it was for punishment. I am the mighty Mercury, and he who set me free must have his neck broken. Softly, said the boy. Do not be too fast. First, I must know if you really are this great person. If you are, you may do with me as you like. Could you enter the bottle again? That would be a great feat, said the giant, full of scorn, and he immediately began to shrink until he was little and thin as before, and crept through the same opening into the bottle. Scarcely was he in when the boy quickly put the stopper in and threw the bottle back into its old place under the oak tree. As the scholar turned to go back to his father, the voice called to him almost pitifully. Oh, please let me out. Please let me out. No, not a second time, said the scholar. He who has threatened my life shall not escape when once I have caught him. If you will let me out, I will give you riches that will last your lifetime, pleaded the imp. No, said the lad. You would cheat me as you did the first time. You are throwing away a fortune, said the bottle imp. I will do nothing to you and except reward you richly. The scholar thought, I will venture he may keep his word and do me no harm. So once more he took the stopper out of the bottle, and in a moment a giant stood before him. Now you shall have your reward, he said, handing him a little rag that looked like a plaster. When you place one end of this on a wound, it will heal it at once, and if you place the other end with steel or iron, it will turn it into silver. I must try it first, said the boy, and going to the tree, he cut a deep gash in it with his axe. He rubbed the gash with one end of the rag and closed it once. You've told me the truth, he said, and now we can part. The giant thanked him for his freedom, and the scholar, in return, thanked the giant for his gift, and then he went back to join his father. Where have you been? Asked the father. Why did you forget the work? Have patience, father. I will soon make up for it, he said. Make up for it indeed, said his father angrily. That is impossible. Now look, father, and I will cut down the tree at one blow, he said. He rubbed the plaster on his axe, struck a powerful blow onto the tree. But as the axe had been changed into silver, the edge turned. Oh, look, father, he cried. What a miserable axe you've given me. It is all twisted. Father was frightened and said, Alas, what have you done? Now I must pay for the axe. It is all the good I get from your helping me. Do not be angry, said the son. I will pay for it. You stupid fellow, he cried. How can you expect to pay for it? You have nothing except what I give you. You have only book learning in your head. You know nothing about woodcutting. In a little while, the scholar said, I cannot work any longer. Let us have a holiday. What is that? Father said. Do you think that I'm going to sit with folded hands because you do? Go home if you want to, but I will stay and work. This is the first time I have been in the woods. I do not know my way home alone. Please go with me. Much against his will, the father consented to go. On the way, he said to his son, "Go sell the axe you spoiled. Get what you can for it, and we'll supply what is lacking so we can pay our neighbor." Son took the axe to a goldsmith, who weighed it and said, "It is worth $400. I haven't so much cash by me. Give me what you have, and what is lacking I will lend you." The goldsmith gave him $300, and there remained 100 owing. The scholar went home and told his father he had the money. When he asked how much the man would want for his axe, "About $1, said his father. "And pay him $2, said the son. "That is just double. See, I have the money in abundance." He handed his father $100. "In heaven's name," exclaimed the old man, "how did you come by this money?" The youth told his father what had happened in the woods. Now he risked his life for the fortune. Afterwards, he went back to school and finished his education. And as he was able to heal all wounds with his plaster, he became the most celebrated doctor in the world. The end. That one, The Imp in the Bottle is pretty interesting, because it also harkens back to, when I say fans of certain shonen, it harkens back to parts of Full Metal Alchemist. Mercury in the Bottle is a pretty, there's those scenes with Hohenheim and the little truth homunculus, our little friend. I don't know, I quite like that. It's one of my favorites. It just shows how smart you can be, and how being smart can often outweigh hard work. Work smarter, not harder, and all that. If that's the way we want to roll it. Work smarter, not harder. What do you guys think? That one's pretty good, isn't it? You ruined it, I'm leaving. Rip and piss, Reaps. Get out of my house. Are there any fairy tales that might be in this book that you guys want me to read in particular? I know that some popular ones that are in here, I believe Little Red Riding Hood is in here. There is... Obviously, I have Cinderella, I have Rapunzel, I have Briar Rose. Yes, Grimm's Fairy Tales. I have with me here Golden Axe. I have Golden Axe. I can read Golden Axe. This is my nice 1890s edition of the Grimm's Fairy Tales by the McLaughlin brothers. So I figured it'd be a nice little relaxing read tonight. But I can totally read Golden Axe. I do like Golden Axe. It is a very good one. Let's see. Golden... I'm pretty sure Golden Axe is in here. Hold on. Or maybe not? Hold on. I know it's somewhere in here. Golden Bird, Gold Children, Hatchet and the Flail. Huh, it might not actually be in here. I'll just read off what I have. The one about the fish. There's so many about the fish. Which one about the fish? The Ant and the Flea, The Bewitched Flower. Yeesh. The Foundling Birdie, which is one of my favorites. Briar Rose, The Brave Little Tailor. The Cat and the Mouse in Partnership. Cinderella, Clever Alice. The Count's Reward, The Crystal Ball. Dame Frost. Dr. Corpse, The Dwarfs. The Enchanted Fawn. The Fish Offers a Wish. I can see... I do not have that in here, sadly. Blanking on the name. I don't know if I have that by that name. I do have Lamb and the Fish. New phone, who dis? It's me. Pick up the phone, please. I have the Fairy of the Mill Pond. I have the Fairy Queen and the Woodcutter's Child. The Fisherman and his Wife, maybe? The Hatchet and the Flail, A Good Bargain. The Golden Castle of Stromberg. The King of the Birds. The King of the Golden Mountain. Sorry, but I don't pick up for unknown numbers. Please pick up the phone. The Fisherman's Wife? Fisherman and his Wife? What page is that? I think it's page 77. Is Rumpelstiltskin the same thing as the girl in the sewing wheel? It is. Page 77 it is. Let me twitch my way on over there. Right. This is probably the one. So, just what's going on in here. We're chatting a little bit, and we're also reading. I have with me here today this is my big funky book of, it's an 1890s edition of the Grimm's Fairy Tales. Every once in a while on here I do reading streams, usually SCP streams, or classic literature. I love to read Edgar Allan Poe and collected works. So tonight I figured I'd drag out Old Faithful here and we'd read some fairy tales before we go to bed. So we are going to read The Fisherman and His Wife. Alrighty. Let me settle on in here. So you're welcome to sit and chill. Tonight is going to be very relaxed. I'm moving the Hollow Cure stream to tomorrow night after I get off work. So, alright. Once upon a time, there lived a fisherman and his wife in a poor little hut close by the sea. Every day the fisherman went out to the fish, and he fished and fished and fished. Day by day he sat in his boat and looked at the black water and looked and looked. One day his line went under deep down, and when he drew it up, there was a fine large flounder at the end of it. It began to talk to him, saying, "Listen to me, fisherman. I beg of you, let me live. I am not a real flounder, but a bewitched prince. I shall be no use to you, for you cannot eat me. Put me back in the water again, and let me swim." Understandable as long as I'm not reading classic literature. I failed English 3 times because Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. Well, said the fisherman, you need not make so much noise about it. A flounder that can talk I shall indeed throw back into the water. With these words, he placed it back in the water, and it swam away, leaving a long streak of blood behind it. Then the fisherman got up and went home to his wife. Husband, said the wife, did you catch anything today? No, said her husband. Nothing but a flounder that could talk, and that said it was a bewitched prince, so I threw it back into the water. Did you wish first? She asked. No, he replied. What should I wish for? What should you wish for? She cried. Alas, that is too bad. Here we have always lived in this miserable, dirty little hut. You should have wished for a neat little cottage. Go back and call the flounder, and say we want a nice little cottage to live in. He will surely give it to you. Alas, said the fisherman. How can I pay for it? Pay for it? Said the wife. Did you not catch the flounder and then let it go again? Go quick and ask for this, and it will surely give it to you. The fisherman was very unwilling to go, but it was useless to oppose his wife. So he went once more into the sea, whose waters were no longer black but green and golden in the setting sun. Standing on the shore, he called, Monty, Monty, Timpity, flounder, flounder in the sea. My good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell. Immediately the flounder swam towards the water surface and said, What does she wish for? Ah, he replied, because I caught you and let you go again, my wife said I ought to have wished. She sent me back to ask for a neat little cottage in place of our wretched old hut. Hmm. Go home, said the flounder. She has it already. As he drew near his home, the dirty little hut was no longer in sight. No, he lives by... Flounders live in the sea. But he instead saw a neat little cottage, and sitting on a bench by the door was his wife. She took him by the hand and led him in, saying, "Come and see if this is not so much better." It was a beautiful little room with a fireplace in it, a soft white bed in the bedroom, a storeroom full of good things, and a kitchen fitted up with the best tin and brassware. Outside was a garden in which vegetables and fruit were growing, and beyond this little yard full of chickens and ducks. "See," said the wife, "is this not nice?" "Yes," said the fisherman, "and it will stay so. Now let us be contented." "We will see about that," she replied, and they sat down for their evening meal. A week or two passed happily. Then the wife said to her husband, "These rooms are entirely too narrow, and the yard and garden are much too small. The flounder could just as well have given us a much larger house. I should like to live in a great stone castle." "Oh, wife," said the man, "the cottage is good enough for us. What do we want of a castle?" "What indeed?" exclaimed the wife. "Go down to the sea, and the flounder will surely give you what you ask." "No, wife. The flounder gave us the cottage first, and if I ask again, it may make him angry." "Go along," cried the wife. "It can do it for you just as well as not, and will do it willingly. Go along and try." "I got some species can live in freshwater, most are saltwater fish." "Okay." The husband did not want to go, and walked along with a heavy heart, saying, "It is not right, it is not right." When he came to the sea, the waters were very calm, but no longer green and gold. They were now a dark blue color. Standing on the shore, he cried a second time, "Monty, Monty, Tim Pie Tea, flounder, flounder in the sea. My good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell." "What does she want now?" asked the flounder. "Alas," said the man, "she wants to live in a great stone castle." "Go back," said the flounder. "She already stands at the door of her castle." The man went back, thinking he would go to his old home. Lo, in his place stood a great stone castle. His wife was waiting for him on the steps, and taking him by the hand, said, "Come, let us enter." They passed through a marble hall in which many servants were standing, ready to open the heavy doors of the grand salon. They were ushered in, and a scene of great beauty met their eyes. The walls were polished and hung with beautiful tapestry. The chairs and tables were of pure gold. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Soft carpets sunk beneath their footsteps. And on the table, ready for their use, refreshments, and there stood their choicest foods and wines. Surrounding the castle was a great courtyard, in which were stables and cowsheds and horses and carriages of the finest kind. There was also a garden, full of beautiful flowers and fruit trees, and beyond this, a park in which were deer's, hare, and other game. "Well," said the wife, "is this not a beautiful castle?" "Yes," replied the husband. "May it always remain so. And now let us live in this castle happy and contented." "We will see about that," she replied, and they went to bed. Next morning, the wife awoke, just as the day was breaking, and looked out at the beautiful country lying before her. Her husband was still asleep. She poked him in the side with her elbow and said, "Get up, husband, and look out the window. Wouldn't it be fine to rule over all of this land like a king? Go tell the flounder you wish to become a king." "Alas, wife," said the man, "I don't want to be a king." "Well, now," she replied, "you do not wish to be king. Then I will be king. Go tell the flounder that I would like to be a king." "Indeed, wife, I cannot ask for that," said the husband. "Why not?" she asked. "Go down to the sea at once. I must be a king." The man went away gently, vexed that his wife wished to become king. "It is not right, it is not right," he kept saying as he walked along towards the sea. Once more he stood on the shore, but today the waters were rough and dark and had a foul odor. A third time he called the big flounder. "Monty, Monty, Timpy, flounder, flounder in the sea. My good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell." "What does she want now?" asked the flounder. "She wants to be king," said the man. "Go home, she is that already," said the flounder, disappearing. He went home, but as he drew near the castle, he saw that it had been changed into a splendid palace, with high towers and many beautiful ornaments. A sentinel stood at the top of the gate, and many soldiers marched up and down the courtyard with their drums and trumpets. He entered the palace and found everything of the purest marble and gold. Even the velvet carpets and the curtains were all fringed with gold. Presently, the doors of the state apartment opened, and he saw his wife sitting upon a high throne glittering with gold and diamonds. She wore a golden crown on her head, and the scepter which she held in her hand was of pure gold and precious stones. On either side of her stood 6 young pages, each a head taller than the one next to him. He went up to the throne and said, "Well, wife, are you king now?" "Yes, I am king now," she replied. He stood looking at her for a long time and said, "Ah, wife, how beautiful everything is now that you're king. There's nothing more to wish for." "Not so, husband said the wife. "Time and tide wait for no man. I cannot wait any longer. I am king now. I must be emperor." "Emperor, wife? Why do you wish to be the emperor?" he cried. "Husband," she said, "go down to the sea without delay and call the flounder. I wish now to be emperor." "Alas," he replied, "I cannot ask the flounder to make you emperor. There can be one emperor in the land." "What?" said the wife. "Will you dispute me? I am king, and you are my husband. Be quick and go now. I have been made king, and I will also be made emperor." So the man was compelled to go. He was frightened at the thought of asking to be emperor. "It is not right. It is too imputed. The flounder will be angry," he thought to himself. When he reached the sea, the water was thick and black, and the waves rolled in one after another, sweeping everything before them. The man was terrified, called out as before, "Monty, Monty, Timpy, flounder, flounder in the sea. My good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell." "What now?" asked the flounder. "Alas, flounder, my wife wishes to become emperor," answered the man. "Go home," was the reply. "She is emperor now." He went home and found the palace built entirely of polished marble, ornamented with alabaster figures and golden turrets. Soldiers were marching with banners waving, and drums and trumpets sounded martial music. He entered and saw lords and barons moving about as servants. They opened the golden doors and ushered it in to his wife's presence. She was seated on an immense throne of solid gold. The crown on her head was 3 yards high and covered with diamonds and carbuncles. In one hand she held a scepter, and in the other a globe, surmounting a cross. Instead of the little pages, there now stood, on either side of her, a row of servants, great in size, from tallest giant down to the tiniest dwarf, no larger than your finger. Husband approached her and said, "Are you the emperor, wife?" "Yes," she replied, "I am emperor." Gazing around him, he exclaimed, "How beautiful everything is now that you're emperor." "Husband," the wife said, "what are you standing there for? I am emperor, but now I wish to be pope." "You'll tell the flounder this." "Alas, wife," cried the frightened man, "why do you wish for that? You cannot be the pope. There is only one pope in all of Christendom, and the flounder cannot make you pope." "Husband," she said, "I wish to be pope. Go immediately. I must be Pope this very day. Wife, he replied, I dare not ask it. It is too high. You cannot be made Pope. What nonsense, she exclaimed. I was made Emperor. Now I shall be Pope. Away with you. I am Emperor, and though you are my husband, yet you shall obey me. Go at once. Frightened, weak, and shaky in every limb, he left the palace. The wind blew fiercely. Clouds flew across the sky that grew darker as evening came. The leaves were torn from the trees, and the waves rolled mountains high. Far off, he heard ships signaling their distress, and as lightning flashed along the horizon, saw them rise and fall on the waves, in great fear and distress. He cried out, Monty, Monty, Timpiti, flounder, flounder in the sea. My good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell. What will she have now? Asked the flounder. She wishes to be Pope, replied the man. Go home, said the flounder. Her wish is granted. He went home and found her there in a vast cathedral. Surrounded by palaces, he made his way through the crowds outside and entered. The cathedral was lighted with thousands of candles, and seated on a high throne was his wife, clothed in gold-embroidered robe and wearing 3 golden crowns on her head. On each side of her was a row of candles, ranged according to size, some as tall as the tallest towers, and others as small as rushlights. Priests and cardinals stood around her, while emperors and kings bowed at her footstools and kissed her slippers. Wife, said the husband, are you now Pope? Yes, she replied, I am Pope. He stood gazing about him, where all was bright as noonday, and said, how beautiful everything is now that you are Pope. But she sat stiff and proud and made no reply. Wife, he said again, be contented now that you are Pope, for you can become nothing greater. We shall see about that, she replied. She was not contented, however, and that night there was no rest for her. She tossed from side to side and tried to think what she should wish for next. She left her bed early in the morning, and she stood by the window as the sun rose. She cried, I have it now. I would like to make the sun and the moon rise. Husband, she cried, shaking him from his sleep. Wake up. Go to the flounder and tell it that I wish now to become ruler of the heavens. Her husband, who was hardly awake, was so frightened on hearing this that he tumbled out of bed. What did you say, wife? He asked, rubbing his eyes and thinking he must have misunderstood her. Husband, said she, if I cannot make the sun and the moon rise, I shall never have another happy hour. She said this. She looked at him so fiercely he shuddered, and falling on his knees, cried, the flounder cannot grant me this. It has made you Emperor and Pope, but it cannot go no further. I beg of you to remain as you are. But in her anger she tore her hair and cried, I shall die. I shall die if you don't go at once. The man hastily dressed himself and ran to the sea as fast as he could, but when he reached there, the storm was still raging. He could hardly keep on his feet. Houses and trees were torn down, ships were wrecked. Great rocks were loosened and rolled down into the sea. The black waves, with their white crests, dashed as high as the church steeple, and all was inky black, lit only now and then by lightning flashes. Then, as he shouted loudly, though he could not hear a single word, Monty, Monty, Timpiti, flounder, flounder in the sea, my good wife, Dame Isabel, sent me here her wish to tell. What more does she want? Asked the flounder. Alas, cried the man, she wishes to become ruler of the heavens. Go home, said the flounder. She is sitting once more in her wretched hut. And there she is sat for from that day to this. And that was The Fisherman and His Wife. How'd you think? What'd you think? How's everybody doing? It's interesting to see, I think, when I look at specifically these older stories. More. Yeah, more. It's interesting to read these older stories and look back on the morals that they instilled and the fact that these are all still really good stories. Like, if I had kids, I'd read them this. She kept wanting more. Truly, like, it just kind of makes you think. You can't have everything in the world. Sometimes you just have to be happy with what you've got, you know? I have been, I've had this book for at least since I was in high school. I think I bought it on a vacation trip. Bought it for like $25, and I'm pretty sure now that it is worth way more than $25. I'm pretty sure this book is worth at least $100, which is very impressive for me. I was very surprised for it to be so different. So 2 years ago. Shut up, old man. Stinky old man. What else do we have here? I've got Cinderella on the next page. But let's see if I have something else that you guys might enjoy. Let's see. Oh yeah, I added some stuff to my throne wish list, and I saw some gluten-free Danish cookies, like the sewing kit cookies. And I'm very tempted to try I added them to my throne, but like I want to just kind of buy a box of them so I can try them because they look really, really good. Let's see if I can't find something else here. I am a little sleepy, not gonna lie. A little eepy, I am. It's just a bit. I shouldn't be this sleepy, if I'm being completely honest with you. I slept in today. We'll go at least until the 2-hour mark, I think, and then, I'll probably wind up going to sleep. Mostly because I am very, very tired. So let's chat for a bit, just to kind of break it up. How are you guys? I keep asking that. I hope you guys are doing alright. I know that, I've been very busy lately. I don't mean to be this busy, by the way. I feel like I've been slacking a lot on making, on doing streams, making content. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying really hard to, get back into the swing of things. I've got commissions! So many! That I've been, like, really slowly working on. There's a lot of stuff that I've been doing in the background. Like I said earlier, I've got plans for some other stuff. Hehe, Penny is excited. I'm really excited to get that skep back. I know it's probably going to be a couple months before I do, because they have a really, high complete average day. It's like 60-some days. So it's gonna be a bit before we get them back. But I commissioned somebody to do me some outfit designs that I think are gonna be really cute, that I'm hoping you guys really like. When work isn't punching me in the face, I'm busy elsewhere. I'm trying so hard. Holy shit. Hold on, I wanna go check. Oh shit! No way! The ASMR video broke 100 views. It's at 102. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry a little bit, actually. I was not expecting it to do this well. It's only been 8 hours. I don't usually do ASMR, so this has been like a really strange new thing for me. But it seems like it's people like it. Wasn't expecting that. Maybe we'll poke Burns again. You're in chat, asshole, I know you are. To make us another script. Make us something fun. Not that that wasn't fun. I actually did have a really good time recording, even if it was hot as shit, because I had I was hunched over my desk with my microphone, still on me a case of Baja Blast. You will get your Baja Blast. How about this? Hold on, I will straight up. Hold on, I'm gonna straight up just go buy you a case of Baja Blast. ASMR is a popular genre for sure, and listening to you is great. I've always been like... The thing is, when we've done this in the past, I usually do reading streams. I do a lot of reading streams. I like doing reading streams. It's something that I personally really enjoy. Just for the fact that it's fun. I like reading. I've always been a bit of a bookworm. And I have always really liked that. And I've always been told that how do I put this? I've always been told that I have a good voice for ASMR and reading and stuff, and I've been meaning to at some point invest in a higher quality mic, or a better mic that maybe, there, your Baja Blasts are in the mail. I ordered you Baja Blast, bitch. I've always been told that I have a voice for reading ASMR and stuff like that, which is, you know, it's touching. I'd never thought about it before I started reading, because once I started reading aloud on stream, I had a lot of people who'd be like, yeah, I fall asleep to this, or, I remember one of my friends sent me a message, and she was like, my boyfriend listens to your SCP readings, as like a podcast when he goes to sleep. You can commission a new script, I guess. What do you guys want for a script? What do you guys want for this script? Actually, you know what? No, I've got an idea. I might open up a new channel on the Discord. Since I'm not good at picking this sort of stuff, I might leave it up to you guys. And I'll put on the Discord, a thing where you guys can, give script ideas? Like, concepts for scripts? If that sounds fun. If you guys want something like that, maybe we can do that, and then I can pick from those. And, it's a 12-pack, by the by, so, yeah, you get a new script. I get a new script. We'll do another one. Why not? Scripts? Script suggestions. I will send this to Live Alerts if you want to suggest a concept script me ideas for future ASMR videos. Feel free to drop them here. Anyway. There we go. Now we can add in there. I feel like it's uncharted territory. I'm very thankful that it seems like it's been a weird hit. A surprising hit. Considering my last VOD that I put out has gotten like maybe 11 views. I've never, I don't think in recent times, my VODs have broken like 50 views. This is definitely, a little bit exciting. A little bit, interesting for me. Like I said, I never really like watched or engaged with ASMR before, mostly because I can't stand noises in my ears, like mouth noises in my ears, or certain sounds just make my brain go, oh no, so I don't like that, but it seems like maybe I'm just good at it and I've been cursed with not being able to enjoy it. Maybe that's what it is, you know? Alright. How about we read one more story and then we'll head to bed? How about we do... Well, I find us a good one here. Let me get the book. I have plenty here. How about we do Briar... No, maybe not Briar Rose. What to do? I know there's something here that I could probably read. I'm trying to figure out which one I want. Maybe we could do... How about The Wedding of Mrs. Fox? Page 141. We'll do The Wedding of Mrs. Fox. I feel like that's a story that I really like, that I think you guys would probably like too. It's a shorter one, so it shouldn't take us that long to get through, and then we'll probably wrap up for the night since I have not been feeling very great, etc., etc. You know how it is. Alrighty. We are gonna have ads here in a second by the looks of it, so just keep that in mind. Once upon a time, there lived an old fox who had 9 tails. One day he took it into his head to play a trick on his wife, and by means of it, prove whether she were faithful to him or not. So he stretched himself out under a bench and lay as motionless as a dead mouse. Mrs. Fox was greatly distressed when she found him, and leaving everything in the hands of her maid, a young kitten, went to her room and locked herself in. When it became known that the old fox was dead, suitors began to appear. One day the maid heard someone knocking at the door. She opened it and saw a young fox who said, "Pussycat, pussycat, what do you have there?" "Awake and at work, or asleep by the fire." And she replied, "Asleep by the fire, indeed I am not, but over the fire I am stirring the pot, in which I am warming some butter and beer. Come in, Mr. Fox, and we'll give you a good cheer." "Thank you, Miss Kitty," said the fox with a grin. "I don't mind the beer, but is Mrs. Fox in?" And the kitten replied, "She sits in her room, and no one will see. If you have any word, you must tell it to me. with weeping and mourning in her eyes, are quite red. She cares for no one now that her husband is dead. Very well, said the fox. Go and tell her a young fox would like very much to become her suitor. Away crept the cat, pit-pat, pit-pat. She knocked on the door, rip-rap, rip-rap. Dear Mrs. Fox, are you there inside? A lover is waiting for you outside. Ah, yes, I am here. But how does he look? I must know, my dear. If his tails are so long and so many and fine as those of my husband, you know he had 9. Alas, said the cat, he only has 1. Then I will not have him, so tell him for me. So the cat went down and sent the fox away. But soon there was another fox at the door, who wished to see Mrs. Fox. And as he only had 2 tails, his fate was no better than that of the first. Then there came one with 3, and he was also refused, till finally one that came and had 9 tails like the late Mrs. Fox. When the widow fox heard of him, she said joyfully, Now open wide the windows and door, take out the old fox, I want him no more. Just as they were about to celebrate that wedding, the old fox came to life and beat the whole company together with his wife until he drove them out of the house. This tale is also about the old fox who pretended to be dead. The wolf came to the door and knocked, and the cat, who was the maid to Mrs. Fox, opened. He greeted her and said, How do you do, Miss Kit? Why alone do you sit? What have you good to eat? The cat answered, Bread and milk I have made. Already the cloth is laid, come in and take a seat. Thank you, Miss Kit, said the wolf. Then Mrs. Fox is not home today? The cat replied, Look in her room, she weeps, and neither eats, drinks, nor sleeps, for Mr. Fox is no more. And the wolf said, Would she like another man? Tell her quickly as you can, I am waiting at the door. But Mrs. Fox did not open the door, only asked, He has little red stockings and a pointed nose. No, he has not, replied the cat. Then I will not have him, said Mrs. Fox, and the wolf was dismissed. After the wolf was gone, there came a dog, a deer, a bear, a rabbit, a lion. Indeed, all the animals in the woods came as suitors to the widow fox, but all with the same success, till finally a young fox came. Has he little red stockings and a sharp nose? Asked the cat. Yes, replied the cat. Then let him come in, said Mrs. Fox. She ordered the maid to get ready for the wedding. Make haste, kitten, get your broom. The old fox swept out of the room. Go and hunt some big fat mice. Treat yourself to all that's nice. For today is the wedding day. Make haste, Miss Kitten, then be gay. So the wedding was celebrated with song and dance. For all I know, they are dancing still. You know, we actually probably have time for one more, so I'll give you a classic one before we go. How about Little Red Riding Hood? Or I guess it would be Little Red Cap in this case. It's page 100. It is called Little Red Cap, this rendition. I think Red Riding Hood came way later. So this one is a little bit different. I'm sure you guys will find it is just as uncomfortable as you probably were told. Little Red Riding Hood, this one's actually pretty short, so we might have time for another one. I kind of want to stretch it for the next 20-ish minutes. I at least want to hit the 2-hour mark, so we'll read for a little bit longer. Once there was a sweet little girl whom everyone loved, but her grandmother loved her best of all, and was always thinking what she could do for the child. One day, she made her present a red velvet cap, and as she wore nothing else, she was called by everyone Little Red Cap. Her mother said to her one day, "Come, Little Red Cap, here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine that I wish you to take to your grandmother. She is ill and weak, and these will do her good. Go now before it becomes too warm. Walk carefully and do not run from the path, or you may fall down and break the bottle, and then your grandmother would have no wine. When you go into her room, do not forget to say good morning, and do not stare about into all the corners." "I will do everything you wish," replied Little Redcap, taking your mother's hand. The grandmother lived in the woods, about half an hour's walk from the village. No sooner had Little Redcap entered the woods than she was met by a wicked wolf. But not knowing what a wicked animal he was, she was not at all frightened. "Good day, Little Redcap," he said. "Where are you going so early?" "To my grandmother's," she replied. "What are you carrying in your basket?" "Cake and wine we baked yesterday, and grandmother is to have some of the good things, that she may become strong and well again." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Redcap?" "About a quarter of an hour's walk farther on. The house stands under 3 great oak trees and has a nut hedge around it. You can easily find it," said Little Redcap. The wolf thought to himself, what a tender little creature. She would make a dainty morsel, much better than the old woman. "I'm coming, perhaps I can swallow them both." After they had gone a little way together, he spoke again. "Little Redcap, see the beautiful flowers that are growing all around. Why don't you look at them? And listen, I don't believe you hear how sweetly the birds are singing. You walk along as if you were going to school and must not stop by the way. How beautiful it is out in the woods today." Little Redcap looked about her, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing among the leaves and falling on the beautiful flowers, she thought, how pleased my grandmother would be if I should bring her a fresh bouquet. It is so early I can pick one and then get there in good time. So she ran the path into the woods to look for the flowers. Every time she picked one, she would see one more still beautiful and a little farther on. And thus it happened she wandered a long way from the path. But the wolf went straight ahead to the grandmother's cottage and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" she called. "Little Redcap. I have some cake and wine for you. Open the door." The wolf said, trying to speak as gently as possible. "Lift the latch," said the grandmother. "I am so weak I cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch, opened the door, and without saying a word, went to the bed and swallowed the old lady. He covered himself up in bed and waited for Little Redcap. But the little maiden was running about after flowers, and not until she had gathered all she could carry did she think about her grandmother, and started once more for the cottage. When she came to the door, she was surprised to find it open, and on entering the room, everything looked so strange. She was frightened. But she said to herself, why should I be afraid of grandmother when before I have always been so glad to see her? Then she said good morning to her, but received no answer. She went to the bed and drew back the curtain. There lay her grandmother, she thought, looking very, very odd, with her cap pulled over her face. "Oh, grandmother, why are your ears so large?" she cried. "That I may hear you better," replied the wolf. "Why are your eyes so big?" "So I can see better." "And what large hands you have, grandmother. The better to hold you with, my dear." "Grandmother, why is your mouth so large?" "That I may swallow you." And with one leap, the wolf sprang out of the bed and seized Little Redcap and swallowed her also. Now that the wolf had satisfied his hunger, he lay in the bed again and fell asleep. A hunter passed the house, and hearing him snoring, thought, how the old woman does snore. I must see if anything is the matter with her. So he looked in the window and saw the wolf lying in bed. "What do I find here, you old sinner? I have been looking for you a long time." He took aim with his gun, but just then it occurred to him that it might be possible for him to save the old woman yet. So he put his gun down and entered the cottage, and taking a pair of shears, he cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. He cut but little away when he caught a glimpse of the red cap. He cut a little farther, and out jumped the maiden, crying, "Oh, how frightened I was! It was dark in the wolf's body." And then the old lady was helped up. She was just alive and could barely breathe. Little Red Cap then ran quickly and gathered some large stones which she brought for the hunter, and with them she filled up the wolf's body. Soon the wolf awoke and tried to run away, but the stones were too heavy for him, and he sank down and died. All three were now very happy. The hunter took the wolf's skin off and carried it home. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine that Little Red Cap had brought to her and was strengthened. The Little Red Cap thought, I shall never leave the path again and run into the woods when I had promised my mother not to. It is also told that once after this, when Little Red Cap was going to her grandmother's to carry some roast meat, she met another wolf and tried to get her to leave the path. The maiden was on her guard and kept straight in the road until she came to her grandmother's cottage. She told her that she had met a wolf who spoke in a very friendly way to her, but had so wicked a look in his eyes that if she had not been on the public highway, she would have surely been eaten up. Come, said her grandmother, we will fasten the door so he cannot get in. Soon after, the wolf knocked at the door and cried, Open up the door, grandmother. I am Little Red Cap, and I have some roast meat for you. They kept still and the door was not opened. Old Gray Coat then quietly crept round the house for a while, and then sprang on the roof to wait for Little Red Cap as she went home. When he would follow her, and if it was dark, he could easily seize and devour her. But the grandmother knew what he had in mind, and was a match for his cunning. Now there stood in front of the cottage a large stone trough, and she said to the child, Take a pail, Little Red Cap, and fill the trough with water in which I cooked sausages yesterday. Little Red Cap carried the water from the great kettle and poured it into the trough till it was full. As the odor of the sausages rolled through the roof, the wolf began to sniff and look around. And in his eagerness, he stretched his neck so far over the roof that he began to slip. He could not stop himself and slipped head first into the trough and was drowned. Then Little Red Cap set for home in great glee, and no one did her any harm. I've still got time. Oh, I don't really have anything that's not super short. I'm trying to fill space, but I don't think I can. I think I'm probably done for the night. I'll stream tomorrow, and then obviously I've got a stream Wednesday planned. Tomorrow will probably be Hollow Cure, as that seems to be my my go-to. I have Master Duel downloaded. I am the sole reason my shampoos have instructions. Did you drink the shampoo? It's okay, I've eaten Irish Spring. I've eaten soap before. I can't blame you. Don't eat that. Lord Death of Murder Mountain. It's a big name. Long name. How'd you become Lord Death? Coconut tastes good? Coconut tastes good. I have cake still. I'm gonna get cake after this. Aw, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Welcome in. I hope you enjoy your time. Thank you for logging into the Iris. I think, what's coconut good? And I want to do more, I want to eat more stuff with coconut. I want a coconut cake really bad. I'm thinking, next time that I have cake, I'm gonna make cupcakes instead of regular cake. See about making cupcakes instead of regular cake? Because that sounds good, you know? Oh, yeah. Sleepy hours. Big sleepy hours. I should not be this tired, but it's fine. It's fine. I figured it would be, I would be kind of tired. Oh, gosh. It's late though. Like, that's the thing. It's so late that I want to get some rest. Let's see. Is there anybody live right now that I can pause you guys at? They're probably not gonna have the same chill vibes, because my friends are all yelly. Tommy's playing Legend of Zelda, actually. Let's go bother my daughter. We are gonna go raid Tommy. Tommy's online. Please. There we go. We're gonna go raid Tommy's online. Tommy is she's playing Tears of the Kingdom tonight. Tommy is my my design daughter. I did her design and I absolutely adore her. She is so sweet, so stinking sweet. So if you guys are ready to go, we will go raid Tommy. Please enjoy your time with Tommy, and as per usual, thank you for showing up. Thank you guys for coming tonight, even if it's been kind of quiet. I wanted to thank you guys really quick again for the overwhelming support for the ASMR video. I was not expecting it to do that good. Let me put this book up and take my glasses off. And thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy Tommy. She's a bundle of fun, and I will be seeing you guys later. Bye!